At least 3 of you have done this a number of times with me. Okay, so what is grounding? We talk about, we talk about grounding, but what is grounding?
Feeling rooted.
Feeling rooted. Feeling rooted in what way?
Connected to the earth.
Connected to the earth.
Is it actually electrical? Or something like electromagnetic?
Yeah, and one of the things that I have been told by the angels actually is is a fast way to connect is sensing the electromagnetic current that we have within our bodies, connecting to the electromagnetic current within the earth. If that makes sense. So you see the electromagnetic current within your feet connecting. So the electromagnetic current. You're the first person who has ever said that.
She's a scientist.
She's a scientist, yes. So it's interesting. But actually, practically, it also means something else in a very practical term. There's something else about it that's very practical. Come, everybody.
To use like to be here.
You're physically in your body, aren't you, basically?
Yeah.
You're physically.
And that's the key. It's about being physically in your body. It's about being physically present in your body.
Because that's a challenge for a lot of people who do spiritual work sometimes.
Yeah. Instead of kind of being floating all out there and up there and all over the place, it's about being physically in your body. So people who are grounded, we've got, remember, all the nice S words. It's very simple. How do they appear? People who are grounded, how do they appear?
Solid, strong.
Solid, strong,
Stable.
stable.
Confident.
S.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon.
But actually, well, but
Yeah.
they confident physically.
Yeah.
Okay, confident on a physical level. Okay, but you know that's fine. But confident physically. What else? There's another big S word. Safe. They appear very safe to be around.
You're solid, strong,
Safe, secure.
secure.
They're very spatially aware. They don't go bumping into things, they don't go knocking into things. Okay? So if somebody is not grounded, how do they appear?
Did you do that S or was it
No,
clumsy?
just
Spaced out.
spaced out.
Like I am sometimes.
Yes, no comment.
Yeah. Spaced out. Dreaming, ethereal, aren't they sometimes? Like daydreaming.
All over the place.
Yeah, well they can no, that's if they're not centred, they can appear all over the place. If somebody's grounded,
Sometimes you don't see them.
Yeah, they're invisible. aren't they?
yeah, they can appear almost invisible, they can appear ethereal, they can appear floaty.
Absent-minded.
Yeah,
You might not notice them if you walk into a room, even though they could be a big person, but if they're not grounded, you may not just notice their presence.
they're literally kind of like floating away
Yeah,
up
yeah.
there. They haven't got that very solid presence. They're kind of all of it. Okay, centred. What is centred as against grounded? What's the difference? So we've said, clue, being grounded is, I'm very impressed that you've come out with this, I have to say.
I mean, I have read it. I read it myself. There's somebody, I read that rubber soles insulate your feet. That's why it's good to walk barefoot. I don't know, but
Well,
there were some singers that used to sing barefoot. Sandy Shaw did.
I mean, I think the thing about being barefoot, if you're actually on the earth, I mean, one of the things about a lot of people within cities like London is if you look at the aura, is that often the aura stops around the knees. That the bottom, we don't have the aura very easily down here. And that's because we're often living, we're living and working in high buildings. So we don't have that kind of connection to the earth, the connection to the ground. And I mean, in London, we haven't got so many excuses as in a lot of other cities because we're fortunate we have so many more kind of gardens and parks and green spaces. I mean, you know, we have a huge amount more than any other kind of equivalent city in the world.
I don't think people in London who work or live, they don't make use of the parks mainly. Maybe there's soil and people don't tend to make as much use.
Oh, but I think that, yeah, I mean
they
the
could
parks.
use it more, I think, maybe.
Yeah, yes, maybe, but people still do use them.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get quite busy, can't they, at times? The weather recently hasn't been very enticing to go out, has it?
No.
Let's face it, it's been quite cold. It's been quite bitterly cold. That's quite pleasant, relatively today. You know, it's going to reach a whole 7 degrees. I heard somebody on the phone. Oh, it's really mild as they're going to sit outside, and I thought, oh my God, it's quite bad when it's about when it's 5 degrees outside and we're calling it mild. You know, that says something about what the weather's been like. Anyway, what is centering?
Someone who lives in the now. In the now.
So it's about being in the now.
Yeah, not in the past or in the future, but now.
In the present. In the moment. And by that we mean it's about being mentally present. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. So how do people appear if they're centred?
Calm.
Efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Focused.
Usually good listeners.
Mm?
Usually good listeners.
Yeah, good listeners.
Balanced.
Yeah, balanced.
Quite focused, in focus.
Yeah, they've got focus there. They often have clarity.
Yeah. And also their left and right side brain is more synchronised, isn't it? Sort of, because they're calm, there's not all this mental.
Well, we haven't said calm, but we have said calm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that they left in their right brains are more synchronised.
Okay.
No, that it doesn't mean that their left and right brains are more synchronised. Actually. Okay. So, but clarity is quite a big word. Effective, efficient, and very kind of that very present. But people can be centred and not grounded. And how do you think they appear if they're centred and not grounded? Just because somebody's centred, it doesn't mean they're grounded.
Yeah.
And that was the example I've given in the past, isn't it? When I had a student in my class. And she was quite shocked because she said, you know, she was very smart. She looked very businesslike. And she was like, she was the most effective, efficient person in her office. But nobody in the class noticed her, practically. She was practically invisible in the class.
Hiding.
Well, no, she thought that she was very kind of clearly present, and she was mentally very present, but she was floating. She was somewhere up here. She was totally ungrounded. Totally ungrounded. but very mentally present, very mentally alert, but totally ungrounded, so she was very ethereal. You wanted to kind of grab her and put her back down to earth. And people kind of often get confused between kind of like the two and what the kind of the two mean. Whereas, you know, when I worked in the gym, they were very grounded and uncentered. And they were totally scatty. Absolutely scatty.
So you said the gym?
I worked in a gym.
Oh.
I worked in a gym doing therapies with all these guys. Very nice. But my God, their lack of focus was unbelievable. They were so scatty. It was extraordinary. I mean, physically, you know, you'd be like, yeah, take me home. You feel totally safe, totally secure with them.
Easily distracted.
Oh my God, yes, very easily distracted. So if somebody gets lots of bumps and bruises, what would you say they were? Ungrounded or uncentered?
Uncentered.
Yeah, uncentered. Uncentered. Because they've got that unfocused, so they're kind of like wandering all over the place, aren't they? At the moment. That's what a hangover does. But by the time we finish, by the time lunchtime comes, you'll feel fine, don't worry. So being grounded and centered is really important for the work that we're doing. Can you remember why we need to be grounded and centered, everyone?
You said it increases your connection with spirit.
Yes.
It helps connecting, bringing the energies through from the angels. If you're
Yes.
grounded and centered.
Yeah.
And I think you said at one time, you know, it's quite lucky to have a human life in your spirit in a human body, and you've got to make the most of your life, because a lot of people who are spiritual tend to be ethereal and they tend to dream. It's right to dream, but they can't actualise it or bring it to fruition in a physical body, so you have to take action as well.
Yeah, but it also, yeah, it helps to the best form of protection is to be grounded and centered. It also helps us to just be in rhythm with our life. It makes our life and our day a lot smoother and a lot easier if we're grounded and centered. Everything just starts to happen very smoothly, easily and calmly. We know that the energies we're communicating with are the energies we want to communicate with, because there are kind of other chaotic energies floating around. We know this, don't we? You know, you kind of can get on the tube and you can walk up the other side with headaches that don't belong to you and all sorts of things sometimes. And if that happens, undo it, get rid of it, but do ask for it to be kind of transmuted into a positive energy. Don't leave it floating around for someone else to pick it up. Be careful, you know, when you do that. But you can kind of get rid of the stuff. But when you're doing this work. But actually, ironically, angels are actually very grounding to work with. They are very, very grounding to work with. That's one of the very good things about them. Now, for the people who have not had me before, so everybody who's worked with me before has got sheets of paper on grounding and centering. For those who haven't worked with me before, we will not have a sheet of paper on grounding and centering. Sonia, do you want to pass that around? You haven't had one. I think there's a couple of other people who wouldn't have had it either. And Cynthia, have you got?
I wouldn't mind another one.
Yeah. Excellent. I think we're doing quite well timing-wise too, which is quite nice.